She's like, yeah,
Hey guys, it's Pete from Beef Anxiety here. Welcome in today's episode. I appreciate y'all being here so much. Let's talk about a few things real quick. The Pete vs. Anxiety Team Anxiety Facebook group. Are you a part of it? You're not? What are you waiting for? The link's down here in the description down below, or go to Facebook and search Pete vs. Anxiety, then look for the Team Anxiety team page and join it today. Why not? You can join and help. It'll be great. Yeah, like right now. Hurry up. Stop what you're doing, pause this video, go do it right now. But anyways, let's also talk about the Pete vs. Anxiety YouTube page. If you're here right now, you're probably following it most likely. If not, head on over there, subscribe, be sure to like and comment on the videos and let me know, because all that stuff really helps, guys. I really appreciate it. And help me break the stigma that mental health is talked about enough. But anyways, guys, let's get in today's episode. I'll have a great one. Thank you so much again. And as I always say, don't ask how your day is. Ask how your mental health is today.
guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Pete vs. Anxiety here on the Oracle Talk Radio Network. My guest today is the author of Awaken, a book that doesn't teach you who to be. It reminds you who the hell you are. Please welcome in Candice Lyn. Candice, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell everybody a little more about yourself?
Well, I'm a mom of 3 beautiful daughters. Been married 19 years tomorrow, actually.
Hey, congrats.
Thank you. And, I am just somebody who cycled through their own mental health issues, was on the healing journey cycle. I'm healing, and realized that wasn't getting me where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so I sat in the fire of my own unraveling, and found the potential and the potency inside of me that tells me I'm here to do something, right? I'm here on this earth for a reason. And once I was able to walk into that, then everything that came up in my life that wasn't in line with that, I followed and I tracked, and I found the subconscious root that was keeping me stuck in that cycle, and undid it. And now I follow my truth and my potency, and I'm here to empower others to do the same.
Right. That's amazing. So about your book title, that has to be the funniest thing I've read. But it's true, though. I mean, it doesn't teach you who to be. It reminds you who the hell you are. That was such a great title. How did you come up with that?
Honestly, that's what this process did for me. It reminded me who the hell I was, outside of what's happened to me. I fell in the trap of living from my traumas. And that's what defined me and my anxiety. Well, I'm somebody who struggles with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
And I found out that that's not the truth of my being.
Right. Yeah. Especially with the book too. I mean, it's interesting. The title alone has to get a lot of reaction. Like I started laughing. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, if you could title a book, it's like, that's what your title should be. Or like, hey, stupid, stop giving into your own self-doubt, or whatever, something like that. But it's just like, it's so catchy because it's so funny though. But I mean, like, what is the book about though? I mean, literally, is it just like your own personal journey, or is it just like...
It's a mirror. It's an activation mirror, taking you through those subconscious beliefs, right? In my belief is our external world, it mirrors back our internal well-being. And if we're running those subconscious codes of I'm unworthy, I'm not enough, I'm unsafe, then that's what our nervous system is reacting from. And that's the reality we create and live from. And so this book takes you into that subconscious coding that you have and helps you unravel it and find who the hell you are.
Yeah, I get that too. And what kind of research did you have to do to get to that point? Because that's a lot of deep stuff right there. Your subconscious alone is a whole nother topic we could get into about, just itself.
Yeah. It's kind of my life PhD. I'm somebody who questions everything. If a curiosity comes up, I'm going to be in that rabbit hole and I'm going to find it. And what I found, I live in a community that's kind of known for being spiritual, and there's a lot of spiritual coaches. And I thought, okay, I'm going to immerse myself in this in this community, and then I'm going to be healed. Right. And what I found was, yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are coaching and taking people through these processes. But the more I got to know the individuals, they bypass their own pain, right? And they're out there telling people how to live their life. And so I just take a lot of research. I have done, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on my own personal life coaching and learning and helping my marriage. And so it's been through both active research and life, and tracing my anxiety. I was riddled with anxiety for so long, and tried medications, and they're great for the people that they work for, but I didn't like the way they made me feel.
Oh no, I agree. No.
So I had to go deeper.
Like that. They were just like, they made your heart race, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is not what it's supposed to be doing. I'm standing here like I feel like I ran a mile, but I didn't, and it's
Yep. So a lot of internal journaling, reading, researching, and I just was really intrigued by the subconscious, the mind, and the beliefs.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating subject when you get deep into it too. Me and a guest, Betsy Holmberg, we did an hour conversation just about that alone. We talked about like negative self-talk and things like that. And we got deep in there, and it was something amazing. Like you found out so many things were just, it's a lot for people to handle. A lot of people, it's a lot of information, but like once you get it, it makes sense. So because she broke it down so well too, though, she was just kind of giving it to you the technical side, and then she turned around and give it to you the side that we can understand it, and it was great though. I mean, and that sounds like you did a lot of research on it, using your own life experiences too, which is always great when you're writing a book, because that's the first question people ask you. Okay, so what are your credentials? Well, I spent all this time doing all this research. I didn't just do it for no reason. Shit.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, I fully recommend people finding actual professionals in their field, and then also going within, seeing what resonates with that truth inside of you, and finding what don't. And if it don't, then it's not for you. Right. Yeah. And I'm a recovered people pleaser. That's the first one that I unraveled. I spent my life trying to source safety and my self-worth externally, because I had never gone in and found the parts of me that believed I wasn't worthy and believed I was unsafe. And unraveling that, I guess I am my own lab rat. I'll say that's where my research came from.
Yeah, well, you did say you put your own experiences in it too. Which that's authenticity is really big when it comes to a lot of things, because people always want to know more about the person writing the book. So what was that one moment though that just said, fuck it, I'm going to write a book about it? Because, you had to have that moment. I feel like that's the way you even describe it too. It's like, I just said, fuck it one day and just said, I'm going to write a book. I just feel like based on the title alone, that's what you basically had done.
That's exactly. And there was a defining moment. I was working nonstop with this company, hustle, grind culture, just keep your head down and keep going, and you'll get there. And I was crumbling on the inside. I was, leading a team, and it looked like I was doing great, but I was crumbling, and my relationships were struggling. My children were missing their mom, and I just hit this pivotal moment of, fuck this. Like I know
what I told you, that's what she was going to say.
I know that there's more to life than this, and it has to be different. And so the book almost coincide with me, unraveling myself. There was a point where I'm like, am I creating the book, or is this book creating me?
Yeah, true.
Right. And it was just, I didn't have a choice not to. It felt like it was just, this is coming through me, and I'm going to trust it and follow it. And here I am.
That's a similar story. A lot of people tell me, like one woman we met, Sherry Ann Boyle, she said that it was an entity called Spirit that had helped her write 12 books. And she was just an average person, is how she described it. She was just an average person beforehand. She said then something tapped in and was just like, she just wrote, and then she wrote 12 different books. And I'm just like, yeah, that's That's okay, but it was interesting because during the interview, if anybody hasn't seen it, go back and watch it. Like 30 minutes in, something happens. Like, dude, I feel something goes on, and you just watch me go completely blank. And she's reading these words to me. I'm just staring at the screen, but I could feel the presence of what she was talking about, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever had happen because I've never felt like that before, you know. But so I mean, I get it though. It makes sense. Like, especially writing a book, it's just like, you know, you put it out there, and then people are going to criticize you, and you know, all that other stuff you got to deal with. And your anxiety already had to be high at that point because you're like, I got to release this to the public now and just see what the hell they do. And then it's just like, yeah, I don't know about this.
For sure. For sure. And but it was like you said, and I don't know if it was the spirit or what, but there's a frequency. Yeah. And part in some spots where I describe the book, it's a frequency transmission. There was a frequency coming through me that radically changed my life.
Yeah.
And poured out of me onto the pages. It's, you know, I'm like, I'm always going to be asked, like, how'd you write a book? I surrendered. That's how I wrote it.
She's like, I just had a fucking moment. It's like, you know, I'm just going to write this book one way. Hell come hell or high water. This thing is going to get written. God damn it. It doesn't matter how we do it, but we're going to get there. Jesus. Yeah. No, I agree. Cause I've been talking about writing my own book about my own story. And it's just like, yeah, that's about as far as I got. It was the title. That's it. I was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. I got too many things going on though, but I got a lot of side projects and things to do. I take on a lot. I don't know how much energy work you ever get, but what is it? Human design is another thing we're gonna talk about when I bring on one guest that we have, and we're gonna talk about it. But I'm basically a man generator, so like the fact I have multiple things going on at once is typical of that human design itself, you know. And we've covered astrology is another interesting one. If you haven't seen that. We go through the birth chart thing, and it is so accurate. It's so hard to say that it's not, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, this woman is pointing things out to me while we're live talking about this, and I'm just like, it's crazy because I've never told her anything before that point. We haven't talked prior to that. All she knows is my birthday, place I was born, all the information we need to basically run it, you know. So then we were talking about the actual results live and things like that too, and you just see these different things. So, you know, that frequency makes sense because I've been getting bigger into the energy healing sector and things like that too, because after I met a woman named Melanie Hewson, she had come on and we had talked about how I had this weird feeling. I couldn't tell what it was, but you know, and he explained it, and you know, and it was like, you know, it was kind of like that, almost like a frequency. It's like this weird feeling you have, like, you know, you're feeling something, but you're not sure what it is exactly. And she explained to me what it was, and we kind of came to the groundbreaking fact that it was like, you know, it's you know, you feel energy. And I'm like, it makes sense because Einstein said we're all creative energy, you know, and things like that too, you know. And it was interesting because I just like, I could never put my finger on what it was, but that's a good idea though. Is it could be free. It was like a frequency. It was like something that just kept you know, vibrating with me every time I got close to certain people. I could tell it was either I didn't like them or I liked him, and I couldn't tell you why, but I could tell you I just didn't like something about him. And it just like, I got a weird feeling, and it still happens today now. It's like, you know, because I'm an empath, so I have to be careful. So I take on a lot of people's energy around me, and it's draining at times, man. There's some days I go to work and I'm just standing close to people. I can just tell you, I don't like you, but I can't tell you why. I just know there's something I don't like about you, you know. And it's just, some people give that weird vibe off that you're just not sure what it is, but you know, there's something you don't like kind of thing. So,
And I think that's an energy as well, right? That's the deeper. I've always felt that and not understood why. And the deeper I go into my authenticity and my truth and my potential, now I'm recognizing I can see that insecure ego. You know, if somebody's running a belief that they're not worthy, then their ego is going to overcompensate. Yeah. And right. This, and you feel that with people, and the deeper that you're connected to your truth, you can't ignore it. Right?
Yeah. You can't, you know, it's that feeling, you know, you're like, you know, something isn't right. Or, you know, it's that intuition kind of feeling. You know, everybody always says trust your gut, which I do, you know, and I started doing that with people that were coming onto this show. I was looking through my list of people. I've canceled on some people because that's just, I was like, I just don't feel like something you're giving off doesn't feel right here. And I tell them respectfully, I'm like, respectfully, I gotta decline maybe in the future. I just don't feel like our energies are matching up on this kind of thing, you know. And it's, you know, I've turned down very little conversations on this show too. This morning, we were crying this morning. I don't know what to tell y'all, but we were shedding some tears this morning. I've heard some wild stories on here. I've had some crazy situations, and it's been a roller coaster of a ride, man. So let me ask you this though: after you wrote the book, like, what was people's initial reaction? Like, you tell people, like, listen, I wrote a book. What's it called? And then you tell them the title. They had to be laughing their asses off. Like, oh my God, that's the greatest title ever.
um, there was a lot of confusion in my inner circle, and because for a long time, my traumas defined me, right? And they were public, and things I've gone through. It was that victimhood, like, oh, I'm Candice. I'm the girl that lost her brother. I'm Candice. I'm this. And for me to step out.
Really quick though, our guest this morning lost her brother too, so that's very coincidental. You're here, and she had the same thing too. So
yeah. I love those little synchronicities, and I'm sorry to be in her company and that she's lost her brother. That's not easy.
It is,
and that's just who I was, right? I was Candice. I was Cody's little sister, and carrying the pain. And so when I come out with this book of Awaken, to remember who the hell you are, there was confusion, right? But my people love me, and so they chose in and bought it, and I think it's blowing their minds. Like,
that's good though. I mean, that's
really
what you
deep.
want. But I think also it separates you, like you said. You're not identified as just Cody's sister now. You're Candice. You're identifying as yourself, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like a lot of times then that happens, and it's very public what happens. A lot of people are just like, they keep doing just like they were doing to you, is categorizing you as, oh, I'm just so-and-so's little brother. Well, I'm a person, thank you. So, I feel like the book was your message, or like you're knocking on the window. Hey, guess what? I'm a person. I'm maybe Cody's sister, but I am an individual myself. And here it is. Enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I will always proudly be Cody's sister.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Forever and ever. And also stepping out as and the book's pretty vulnerable. Right? Yeah. I mean, I share some things that goes on, and I'm assuming most people's minds. Maybe I just came out into the world to admit how crazy I am. My crazy. Internal dialogue might be crazier than others.
You're not crazy though. I mean, I'm sure it's the thoughts other people have though, because the reaction of the book has been really good, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And people reading it can relate to your story. And like you said, that vulnerability, I believe, is what really makes you likable though, is because you're real and you're not trying to sell them some big dream of just like, some pyramid scheme type thing. You're telling them, this is my story. This is what happened. And things like that too. Do you mention what happens to Cody in the book by chance?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And maybe one day I'll share that story publicly. But
that's something we'll talk about later on. I have something else to talk to you about later on about that. But yes, definitely. That'll definitely be something we can talk about at another time. But yeah, I only asked because I was just curious, because I know our earlier guest, that's what her story was about. It was a memoir about herself, and she talked to her brothers. Woo, hardest conversation I've had to date on this show. I'll tell you right now, I broke down in tears with her. I was like, girl, I am feeling you right now. Oh my God. So, but I think it's amazing what you're doing. I think that, you coming out of your own shell is powerful in its own, because you're claiming your name. You're like, well, I'm Candice. Okay. Well, Cody's here is still a memory, but this is me now. Like, I got to step out of this shadow and do my own thing and make my own movements in the world. And, so since the book, what have you been up to?
Well, it's one of 3.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hold on, guys. We got 3 books in the series. Okay. So what is the second one titled?
It is still in the works. So we're going to have Awaken, and then Unravel, and Unleash.
Okay.
So I just felt very strongly
like we need to invite Candice back for another time. Then definitely you'll have to let me know the timeline of the books, and we'll have to have you come back and we can talk about each one.
Yeah, absolutely. Awaken's more of just that, like an awakening to the fact that we have subconscious beliefs running us, and we have the choice to not. And I wanted it to be digestible, because this is big work.
Yeah.
And so I cut it into 3 parts. Unravel will be more unraveling those webs from all the beliefs. And then Unleash will be stepping into that potency and living authentically and embodying your truth.
Awesome. Do you have a timeline on the books yet, or are we just still kind of in the works right now?
So there's your answer. Right now, they are my cork board. They are sticky notes. Like, okay, this is Unravel. This is Unleash. They're they're coming, but I don't want to rush it. This one
No,
was
oh
so,
God, no, please don't rush it. I agree with
yeah,
you. If you're gonna do it, you might as well spend the time in it, especially when you're in that area. You want to take your time and make sure you got all your dot all your I's and all that stuff. And yeah, oh yeah, I agree, definitely.
yeah. In the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get Awaken out, and I'm going straight into Unravel, and I'll have them all done by the end of the year. But that's really not the case. Awaken came through me in such a sacred way. It's like I was pregnant energetically with it first, and I'm
Yeah.
letting Unravel
Well, I mean, you got 3 books
gestate.
planned out. Most people only get to 1 and just like they don't even think about the second one right away. It kind of reminds me of my good friend Melissa Kim Porter. She's like, I got this 1 book, and then she's like, well, I'm working on 2 and 3 now. Later on, it's like I'm like, listen, whenever you let me know, I'm there. I'm there. You just let me know the timeline for sure. I'm down. Like I said, we can set it up, have you come back, and we can talk about the other ones and as they start coming out and things like that. But that's really cool, though. I mean, you've already got 2 books planning ahead of time. That's more than most people do, man. That sounds like my life. My life's got a lot of things going on right now. So
Right. And then maybe it's the ADHD or whatever, but then I'm like, okay, now Awaken, people are getting stuck.
yeah,
Right. And a lot of times we do need therapy, and I
yeah.
don't want to, I'm being very careful because I don't want anybody to bypass trauma and
Guys,
pain.
helphub.co, by the way, guys, in case you want a really good resource, if you're not sure where to start with your own mental journey, go check it out, guys. Our guest from a few weeks ago, Lisa Sugarman, took the time, put it together for you. You can literally go to this site and it'll walk you through and get you to where you need to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
awesome.
But
So
what I'm
then I
saying that
took, what's that?
I said, you know what I'm saying? No, it's a great site though. She has everything listed there for you, categorized and everything else, and things like that. It's literally helphub.co is really what it's called, but it's like a one-stop shop. She even went through and broke down the different religions, like what they allow you to do in those religions, and has a category for those too. Like she put a lot of work into this thing for everybody.
Oh, I am gonna go check that out. That's what I felt like people needed something else. So
Hmm.
I went off on a tangent and trained an AI model
There you
to
go.
help people as they're getting stuck, right? I was just playing with it today. Why do I keep self-sabotaging? And I've trained it to know when people are in crisis and send them to where they need to be,
Yeah.
and recommend in-person support if that's what they need. But to not coddle and take us to, well, you value victimhood over success, right? And then this is how you get out of it.
I could just imagine what a session with you is like. Listen, let's just cut the shit right now, okay? Like, I don't got time to sugarcoat this stuff for you, Like, if you don't like this, there's the door for you. I don't know what to tell y'all right now.
100%. I've just, like I said, I'm a recovered people pleaser. So I guess I had to go to the other end of the spectrum. Like, you guys, let's stop this bullshit and
Yeah.
let's get to our truth unapologetically and move the hell on with our lives.
Right. I love it. That's my kind of therapy right there. Just like that straight honest truth, man. It's like in your face. Hey, stop being a wuss or something. I could just imagine like, are you crying? Okay, well, here's the tissue. Let's get over this and move to the next thing.
And I do have compassion. I
Oh,
will
I know. I
say,
bet
but
you do. But you have a sense of humor too, which is great though. You know what I mean? Like you understand what I'm saying though. It's just like, I think like a lot of times, people see therapy and then go, oh, well, I'm crazy. You're not crazy. It's not that. It's just you need to understand what it is your brain is telling you or what you're dealing with so you know how to better attack it. Because once
absolutely.
you get a better blueprint for where you're at, you can basically progress from there because then you'll know how to look up what it is. And it's funny you say AI because Dr. Fujian and I had a conversation where she mentioned that Chat GPT, the new therapist for everybody, if you go based on these internet trends, there's somebody that was typing something, she said, and he ended up telling him like he was having suicide ideation. So then the guy literally was, I guess it told him how to commit suicide is what Chat GPT does. Like, oh no, you didn't. She's like, yeah, because she has an app and it has a built-in AI function. And she's like, that's what she was working towards is like it not doing something like that, like Chat GPT. And I was like, dude, I never even knew that until right now, until you told me. And she was like, yeah. And it's just crazy because everybody's like, well, AI is my new therapist. I'm like, AI is not your new therapist, man. They don't think on the same level we do. And they're not trained like we are. Like you can train them so much, but then it gets out of hand when you start like saying certain things to it. Then it's pulling up that situation comes up, and then it's like, oh God, no. Because
Yeah.
what if this person decided to look in that list and decided to try something? And it's just like, oh,
You
like
gotta be
stop with
very
these internet
careful.
trends.
Yeah.
As Candice would say, stop looking at these fucking internet trends, God damn it, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you got to be going through some of these social sites and looking at these things going, Jesus almighty, what is going on with these people? Because it's scary because you have all these people, they're all flashy, all that saying all these great things, but then it's like you're giving out the worst advice possible to these people, you know? And it's so hard because it's like, stop, because these people are listening to you. That's the scary part of this all. Like you're telling us all these things and it's all great. And then it's like giving us all terrible advice. Well, all these things are gonna kill you. Da, da, da. All these like nutrition people too. Just I keep getting these weird videos on my timeline of just shit. I just like look at it and go, what the hell is going on with these people?
Right. Well, and if we aren't locked into our truth, it's really hard to know what's right, what's out there,
Right.
what's truthful. We've been, I think in my book, I talk about how we've kind of been programmed to disassociate
Yeah.
from our
And
body.
why do you think that is though? We've been programmed to dissociate. Do you think it's just because social media is so easy to dissociate on?
Well, now we're going to turn into a conspiracy theory.
We're not turning anything. We're just
Kidding.
just having that conversation.
I'm just kidding.
Get out the tinfoil hats and stuff.
Yeah.
We just start putting them on. We just ever so slightly just slide them on, and everybody's just looking at us like, "Huh? Never mind. You would understand."
Airball. Why? I'm not sure. I think it's easier.
Yeah.
I think it's just the quick answer. I lived disassociated
Yeah.
for 12 years. Right. And coming in my body, that's where my trauma was. That's where my pain was. That's where my
Yeah.
subconscious beliefs lived that weren't serving me. And so just get the hell out of there. Right. And if somebody hasn't done that for themselves, gone in and found their pain and sat with it and released it, then how are they out here telling people how to live their lives?
Message, everybody. Y'all hear what you just said? It makes perfect sense. It's like, how are you going to tell me something when you haven't even dealt with your own issues at the same time? It's like,
Yeah.
So, and it's crazy because like you said, you used to be a people pleaser and things like that too. And it's so hard to watch people that go through that though. It's like you're watching them and it's like, they're doing it. And then it's like, and then you try to tell them and then they're like, oh no, that's not the case. Da, da, da. No, stop lying to yourselves. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. That's one of the biggest examples in my book that I use for myself and I had, like you said, I had conversations with it many times. Like, no, that's how I show my love. I'm a nurturer.
Yeah.
I want, that's how I show my love, but really not really. It was burning me the hell out.
Yeah.
And I talk a little bit about free will. Free will is interesting to me because I do believe we have free will, but while these programs are running us, I never gave myself the choice to not people please.
Yeah.
I never stopped and asked myself, is this how I want to live my life? So I wasn't truly exercising what I think real free will is. My nervous system was like, oh, so-and-so needs a drink. Get up and get it. You'll get validation. You'll be safe. You'll be loved.
Yeah.
I never stopped and thought, is this really what I want to do?
Yeah, and then your anxiety kicks in, and then you're really just thinking about it, like you're hyper focused on the drink. Oh my god, he may need a new drink in a second. I go get it. And and people that don't deal with anxiety, it's great to hear their advice about, hey, just get over it, and oh hey, don't worry so much. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you've just become the expert because it's not what it's like. Like your thoughts are going to your head 1,000 miles an hour. And it's like you hyper focus on certain things. You're just staring at them and. It's rough, man. Some days it's rough for me. Some days my anxiety is just all over the place and things like that too. And It's hard, man. And it hurts so bad when people tell you to just get over it. It's like you don't understand what you're saying to people. It's like telling somebody who just lost somebody, well, you better get over it. You got to be at work tomorrow. It's like, don't do that. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop doing those things. It's so terrible that you're doing these things, and it's just God. Candice would say, it's like cut the shit, okay, guys? Like,
cut the shit.
I'm gonna start referencing. I'm like, listen, it's my buddy Candice would say, and just start saying something like complete absurd.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
So, it's just crazy, man. Because like you get on the internet and you're influencing these younger kids, and these younger kids don't know what they're looking at, and it's like, it's so harmful. Because we're not teaching them the right things about these things. They see all these things, but do they really understand what they're looking at is the real question. And I don't think they do. And I feel like the conversation needs to start younger. Like we need to talk to these kids as early as 12, maybe even younger, just teach them how to emotionally regulate it first, obviously, because then they'll understand what, all these feelings they're having are, and identify sooner when there's a problem. Because if you look at some statistics, we're not even going to go down that road. Those are ugly, man. It gets worse. And then when social media was introduced to most younger gentlemen, that number went to 20% right away of kids that are taking their life, because now you can bully people from across the internet. You don't even have to be in the same room as the person anymore.
Yeah.
And all that kind of, that's just that kind of stuff, you see all the time. And it's like, you're a mom, you'd understand, like you have to deal with these situations with it's your kid. It's like, now you have to literally watch everything they're doing, because now it's like, oh shit, what are they doing on the internet? Because Roblox is not safe anymore for kids either, because there's weirdos in there, and all those kind of weird things that go on there. And it's so crazy, because it's like, okay, these are meant for kids, but that's not what we're looking at this point. We're looking at, okay, we have to watch out for all these predators that are coming out for our kids and saying weird shit to them and asking them for our information, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's requiring us to have conversations with our children way younger than when we were growing up, right? I mean,
yeah, I don't think
when I was growing up, you didn't talk about anything ever.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think my parents ever talked to me about any of that kind of stuff. I know my mom took me to therapy when I was younger, when they split, because she told me I had coping issues, and it wasn't me; it was her that having the issues, and she didn't like that when the therapist told her that. She just went, "No, we're done doing this. Okay, well, I guess we're done doing this experiment for you, huh?" Because like you said, our generation never talked about these kind of things. We never discussed this stuff. Hell, my dad, I think recently, after I started doing this show, a few months ago, we went to visit in Chicago because I had to go to a memorial, and he started telling me some crazy shit I've never heard this man ever say in his life to me. He's like, "Oh, you know where these scars come from?" And it started telling me about where they were, and I was just like, "Holy shit!"
Wow.
Like, you just didn't know. Like, it's so interesting to see, when you really dig into these things. And then a lot of times, it's like when you see things as a kid as early as 4, you understand what's going on. So then you think that's how relationships should go. For us, it was way different, man. We could go outside and leave till 8:00 at night. Now you can't go outside either, because somebody's afraid somebody's going to snatch your kid up.
Yeah, different times. That's
Yep,
what.
the 90s.
Yeah, I just figured the number one thing I can do as a parent now is go internal, get emotionally regulated, and show up as me, and just approach each scenario that comes up individually, right? And have the conversations that I never thought I'd be having with my kids.
Yeah. That was going to be my next question. Do you talk to them about these things? Like, I mean, obviously, now that you've gone through your transformative state and you went from being a people pleaser to where you're now, do you have open conversations with them? I don't know how old your kids are, honestly. So that, but
yeah, I've got 3 daughters, 20, 17, and 13.
Oh, okay.
And, they're the reason I did the work. Right. My grandma was a people pleaser. My mom is a people pleaser. She's reading my book. So, not for much longer, but I was watching this.
Not for much longer.
I was watching this just get handed down. And when I started seeing it in my daughters, I'm like, I handed it down.
Yeah.
And I've been such I'm going to stop as many generational traumas and curses as possible.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely, they've had to watch me become, I was just a people pleaser. That's who I was. And if somebody was mad, I would shrink and I would try to make it better. And now they're seeing me not, right? They're seeing me hold my emotion and my nervous system and stay regulated and not get nervous that somebody's going to be upset. And I feel like having these conversations, writing this book was my way of giving them the way out. Like, here's the way out for the trauma that I handed down that I didn't know early enough. And now I'm going to live by it and let them watch the freedom and happiness and authenticity unravel. And I do feel like it's deepened our conversations. They know me on much a deeper level.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, that was going to be a follow-up thing too. It's like, have they read the book? Do they know what the things that you went through?
So they're working through it. I think they're so close to the source, and it is chapter 1's intense. It's not for everybody. It's for people that can get radically honest with themselves. And so they are taking their time through it. They're reading it. But it's very intense for them because I'm their mom.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. I believe it 100%. They're reading this and they're looking at you going, "Oh my God, really?" A lot of questions are probably coming out too about it, like, what, and
Mhm.
things like that too. And it's just like, then it's like, then they have to look at that and be like, well, that's my mom, and she's telling her story, and this is what she went through, and it's hard, man. It's hard. It really is. I'm sure for them, it's like grandma did this or so and so did, you know what I mean? Like whoever is named in this thing, and all these things, it's just like all of it starts making sense to them, the things that they're looking at, and they're in the home front. So they're seeing this stuff firsthand, like watching you do all these different things. And it's got to be interesting for them because they're getting a firsthand account of what's going on. And now they're seeing this book and they're reading a little by little. And then they're starting to unravel things by themselves, especially the older ones probably start to get it more and go, okay, well, that makes sense. And then they start playing back some of the moments and realizing that, these are the pieces of puzzles you're missing, basically, of what really goes on, what happened to mom and why she's like that.
Yeah. And, I just figure that's the best thing I can do for them to live a life of freedom that I want them to have is
Yeah.
for me to emulate it and tell them how I got there and just be honest and vulnerable about how I got to where I'm at today.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to be, it feels good too for you because when it gets easier to tell it to as people read it and they just look at it and go, oh God, and you're just like, yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot to unload,
Yeah.
and things like that too. But more power to you, man, because that's hard. Once you put that out there, taking it back, man. Everybody can read what's going on, and stuff like that too. So hats off to you because that's hard for a lot of people though.
It was scary, right? As I had people sign up for early access as I was getting it printed, and I'm have them packaged and I'm taking them to the mailbox, and maybe I can't do this.
Yeah.
But no, I'm staying locked into the truth that I created this from, and I'm following through with it. And it was liberating and terrifying all at the same time.
All right. Yeah, I bet it was. But I mean, you did it. Here you are. You already got 2 more books planned and everything else. Like you're on a roll now, man. Just like forget it. Let's go. We on a machine time. Let's
Yep,
do it.
that's what I think. Just keep looking forward. The ripple of the first book's happening, and I'm just gonna keep going.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I ask all my guests this question.
Okay.
If you could break the stigma about mental health, what would it be? Like the one thing that you, over your experience and things that you've experienced to now, if you were like to look at your oldest daughter and tell her, "Hey, listen, I got a message for you." What would that message be basically? Like what does she need to know that's fact from crap in your own opinion?
Oh, it is that we create our life through these beliefs, and never, ever, ever, ever have shame for any past version of yourself or a belief that you once had, right? Every version of you deserves a seat at your table because they got you to where you are today. And it's never too late to pick up, when it comes to victimhood, my biggest message is even though this happened to me, I can still live the life I want.
Yeah.
And just remembering that the trauma doesn't define us and we get to have a life after.
I think that's a powerful statement right there alone. Trauma does not define us. You're right. And it's the same thing with your mental health issues. They don't define you either. I think that is a great statement. I love it. So another question I asked, this comes from a friend of mine. She runs a podcast called The Shit That Goes On Her Head. So when her and I interviewed, she asked me this question. She said, Pete, if your mental health had a song, what would that song be? So Candice, if your mental health had a song, what would it be? I get the same reaction every time I ask people. They're like, oh my God, that is such a great question.
It really is. And some people are so good, like musically. My husband and my middle daughter can just like name. And I'm like, oh, that one song that kind of starts out like this. And then if my mental health had a song, I'm a survivor.
See, that one came up twice now. 2 people have said the same thing. I'm a survivor. What was it? Susan Snow told us that hers was Rage Against the Machine. I was like, all right, okay, all right, go with that one too. And it's great though, because it's like, it's such an interesting question for people because people are like, wait, what? Hold on, this is great. And then you get the responses, and it's great to see what people's responses are. I think we've had Beat It from Michael Jackson. There was a couple I didn't know what they were. and then I'm trying to think what some of the other people responded. Some other people responded to some other things that were just interesting. My answer was like multiple answers. I'm like, well, it depends what they were talking about here, because it changes every day. I listen to music all day. I could recall most songs by just hearing the first few lyrics of it or the first few. It's one of those useless kind of things I do kind of things, but it's just what I do, man. I'm good at that kind of thing. But it's interesting because we've had a lot of topics on here, and especially when it comes to younger women. We did talk about SA a little bit. We actually had a guest on that. She runs a project called Callisto that we were talking about the statistics of things, and it's like, guys, we got to do better, man. Like, I'm listening to this, and I have 3 daughters of my own, I have twins, and I have an older one, and it's like it's so hard because you have to have a conversation with them and explain to them that, listen, that because boys can't act right, and this is why you can't dress like you want to dress, what I mean? It's like, you have to give them that conversation. And it's like, now if I look at it, it's like, how dumb is that conversation? You think about it, because one side can't act right. And so we have to censor for the other. It's just, it gets crazy.
Yeah, that's actually conversations from my daughters. Like, why don't we teach boys to not commit SA rather than women guarding themselves from it? Right.
Yeah. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Ladies, all I can tell y'all is this, is that I'm sorry. I can't apologize for all the guys out there. I just to tell you that it's disgusting. I literally went on a 10-minute rant on that episode about how I'm just tired of this. Oh, well, she's asking for it and all this other dumb shit that, comes up in the conversation and things like that. And, as a girl mom, you can understand that completely, because I'm a girl dad, and I just like, but I think at the same time, it's hard for them, because it's like, you don't want to overreact when they tell you something happens. Like, your first initial as a dad is like, you want to go there and bury the guy in the backyard somewhere, but actually that's more harmful, and things like that too. So
yeah. And I think teaching our daughters to speak our truth and set our boundaries. I'm in Utah. We're in a very LDS culture, and we keep sweet and we obey and we people please, right? And dismantling that.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Speak
I agree.
truth. Speak up for yourself. Set your boundaries, and don't just stay quiet to keep the peace.
And for the love of God, please do not ever tell me the statement that my story is very small, because it is not. Your story matters. It doesn't matter what happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, someone kept telling me that. I remember, I think it was last week's guest. She was like, my story is really small. No, stop. Mm-hmm. Your story's not small. Your story matters. Regardless of how small you think it is, it still matters to somebody, because somebody else can relate to that story and things like that. And like you said, speak out. That's really the big message too, is just speak out, say something to someone, because don't go through the trauma of all that kind of stuff, because the trauma alone, man, will just like eat you alive and that kind of stuff, and it's just, it's a whole nother day for another subject for that, but it's just like, it drives me nuts. It really does. I think it's so sickening that we have to make excuses for the way we act and things like that too. And especially these young ladies that, are trying to express themselves, we're always like, oh yeah, express yourself. And then we tell them, well, you can't express yourself anymore. It's like, okay, yeah. All right. Well, you want us all walk around just like Amish? I mean, nothing wrong with the Amish, but come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a wild thing to unravel. And I just think the closer we can get to living our truth and authentically and being willing to tell our stories and speak out.
Yeah. So, Candice, I got a question for you. For people that deal with people pleasers, what is your best way for them to approach them about it?
So going to a people pleaser.
Yeah. So say you see a friend, first, let's go top of this. Let's rephrase it. How do you first identify a people pleaser? And then 2, if that's your friend, how do you bring it up to them without them getting upset?
That's awesome. Well, for me, my people pleasing, I was constantly just 10 steps ahead of everybody. Right. Yeah. And so I guess identifying that is the person that's the last to the table and the first one up and getting the drinks and getting this or whatever. Right. My question to them would be, does this fill your cup? Like true nurturing fills your cup.
Yeah.
But when you've just say you've left a crowd of people and you were the people pleaser, you saw your friend being the people pleaser, ask them, how's your cup feel? Does it feel like your cup is filled up right now? Are you nourished or do you feel depleted?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all great advice too, because it's like, you see it happen so many times, and it's always disguised as, oh, my grandmother told me how to do this, or it's Southern hospitality and this, and it's always weird to me because my wife's kind of like that. She does a lot of stuff, but that's just her love language is, like she likes to make sure people are fed and things like that. I get that, but it's just like sometimes it's just like they hammer it so home. It's like, well, this is how you're supposed to be. Like one girl I know, she's like, yeah, well, I just want to be somebody's housewife. I'm like, do you really don't? I'm like, is that really what you want for yourself? And like, she seems pretty convinced by it, but I'm just like, you're still young, you're sure that's what you want to do? Well, yeah, and I'm like,
And maybe, who knows?
Sure.
That's what I wanted to be as a mom and a wife.
Yeah.
But I still always wanted to write a book, and I still had things, but I was depleting myself, pouring from an empty cup that there was never any energy left over for what I truly wanted.
Yeah.
And so when I started filling my cup first, now I give my family the overflow and I'm able to write books and do all the fun things that I enjoy.
Well, that's awesome, though. I mean, that's really great, though. Now you're a published author, 2 books on the way. Anything else you're working on that you haven't told us about? Because
the 2 books, the disruptor AI and disruption sessions live with me. I don't know. I've always got all sorts of things going on, just like you. Who knows what's next?
So what's the status for the Eruptor AI? Is that still in the works? Do we have a date on that?
It's live. It's live.
Okay.
My website's thefrequencylab.to, and everything's there. The book, the waitlist for book 2, the AI, booking with me. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. It's all there.
That's right, guys. She's on TikTok as well. Okay. Go follow her, give her a follow. I don't know. You saw her on the show. She'd love to hear from y'all and things like that too. That's so cool though. I mean, now you got the AI going, the book's coming, man. You just juggling projects. We're just going to call you Pete 2 from now on. You can be Pete 2 because you just juggling everything. I'm waiting for you. Like, well, I'm starting a podcast next. I'm like, here we go. Damn.
It's interesting because before I wrote the books, I'm like, maybe this is a podcast, like taking people how I got to where I'm at. But I've written songs and children's books. I've just always enjoyed writing. So maybe in the future.
Books too, huh? Okay, this is getting more interesting now. Okay, now we're peeling back some layers here. So you wrote children's books too, huh?
Yeah, I never published them. They were gifts for my grandma.
Oh, okay.
About growing up with my grandma. I had the world's greatest grandma, so I wrote her books.
You never know. You may have a winner there too. You never know, man. At this point, that's pretty cool though to hear. And it's so interesting because it's like, what else are you writing? Like, well, I wrote children's books, and I'm like, okay. Well, it's fascinating to find out more things as you go here. The things you keep telling us. I'm like, all right, okay. Candice is going to work on a new book for y'all too. It's called Listen. Here's your rebuttal book, and she's just going to come with different things for you to say to people. Like, here, let's cut it right to the point for y'all.
Oh yeah. Shit talk's my love language. So maybe that's the next project.
You a big sports fan at all?
Not so much. We were into
surprisingly
football.
If you talk shit, man, let me tell you, that'd be right up your alley.
Yeah, my dad's full on cowboy.
Oh,
we'd have
I'm sorry.
No, not the team, like an actual cowboy.
Oh, okay.
So not really sports, but yeah, there's a lot of shit talk in the cowboy world.
Oh, there's a lot of shit talking in all the worlds, man. But sports would probably be right in your alley. You could sit there and be like, what is that? Deuce Bigelow, he's in the crowd just talking shit to people. Yeah, you guys are a bunch of overgrown pussies and things like that too. Or the hecklers in the baseball fields. I could just imagine one of those people yelling, "Hey, so and so," and just coming to some crazy ass shit to tell them and things like that too.
Yeah. My mom's a Cowboys fan, and we do talk lots of shit to her.
God, I'm sorry. Mom, I'm sorry you're a Cowboys fan. You just less like disappointment. I don't know what to tell you there. I harass them every day I get a chance. Trust me. I love it though. But it's just like, we love talking trash where I'm at though, especially football season. It turns into a war zone in there. We're just back and forth bantering about everything possible.
My husband grew up in Colorado, so I think you can know what flag we flew.
We're gonna politely ask him to leave at any kind of cookouts. We're like, I'm sorry, you gotta go. We don't like Broncos fans here. But as we start getting ready to wrap up this episode of Pete Versus Anxiety, Candice, thanks so much for coming. This is great. I had a great time with you. Like I said, we'll definitely have to invite you to come back for the next book and everything like that. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you? I know you listed your website. What's your handles on TikTok, Instagram? What do you most answer the most?
Instagram, TikTok, Candice Lyn Awaken on both of those. And then the frequencylab.to. There's links to everything there.
No,
So
go get in the waiting list for the book, guys. Because Candice said book 2's coming out eventually. She said if you wait long enough, you might get book 3 as a bonus. You never know.
yeah, you never know. Awesome.
Well, guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode of Pete for Society. Candice, thank you so much for being here, man. This is great. I had a good time. We'll definitely have her come back for sure with book 2, and then we'll figure out book 3 from there and everything like that. She'll come back and she can tell us more about the new book when she has a little more information she can release to us, guys. And as always, I'm Pete for Society. I'm on everything on X down to TikTok. I'm on Spotify, all the way down to iHeartRadio. And as always say, it costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act can do save somebody's life, or you can even make their day. I'm Pete for Society, saying, hey, don't ask your day is say, hey, how's your mental health today?